Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And before we get started with this week's episode, we've decided to have a tip of the day. Now, as you know, if you're a regular listener, this is a music podcast, sort of. Maybe 60%, 55% music podcast.
Might be a little generous, Tim, but continue.
Yeah, and then we'll give you a tip about a gas oven or something. So we have decided to actually have a tip of the day, at least for a while. So I think as it's Joy's topic this week, I'm going to let her start with her tip of the day.
My tip of the day, well, actually, I think I've got two things, Tim. Technically, one's really small and one's a little bit longer. One, if you ever go to the snack machine and you have like 10 cents that you don't, that you comes back at you because you've spent 90 cents, leave it in the snack machine. And the reason I say this is, one, half the time we all have too much change and we forget about it anyway. But two, there have been times in my life where I have been 10 cents short and I just wanted a snack. And it's a very nice thing to do. And I think it brings you good karma. It's my tip. Two, the other tip is if you're ever lost in the forest, Tim, and you have just enough single, but your phone is dying, call your voicemail, set up a voicemail saying your location and where you are and that your phone is dying. So even if they can't get a hold of you, if someone's calling to find you, what do? They get a voicemail telling them where you're at. Those are my tips.
That's actually a really good tip. I'd never really thought of that before.
Yes. So one's to bring you karma and one's to save your life.
Yeah, because, what are you going to do with 10 cents, really?
I always think about that. Like, I'm like, oh, just let, maybe somebody comes up here. They forgot their purse back at the table, realize they're 10 cents short for their snack of choice. And then they just happen to look down and your 10 cents are there.
Fantastic. Well, I have a tip of the day, and this is a very specific tip of the day, maybe too specific. But let's just say you have a commercial grade Keurig machine. For example, a lot of people would have a commercial grade Keurig machine in their home. Probably not. But let's say you had one or had access to one, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And let's say you didn't have access to a kettle and the commercial grade Keurig machine is the only way that you can boil hot water. Yep. Now, if you're using your commercial grade Keurig machine for boiling hot water, or have access to a machine then you're boiling hot water, when you press the brew button, hot water comes out. Hooray! However, if you press the brew and, of course, you don't have a Keurig K-Cup in there and you just want hot water to come out, and you press the button marked strong, do you know what happens? The water comes out the same temperature, but much, much slower.
I wonder why.
Because if you had a K-Cup in there, you would put your cup in your Keurig machine, you press brew, you press strong, so it runs the water slower through the cup.
Oh, because then it would make the coffee stronger. I see.
Correct. But if you're just using it for hot water and you press strong, all that happens is your cup fills up significantly slower. So just a pro tip to anyone who may have a commercial grade Keurig machine or access to one.
Were you trying to brew strong water?
I have observed this. Just that's all I need to say.
Okay, fair enough. All right, that's our tip of the day. We're gonna have to write a little jingle, Tim, at the beginning and end of the tip of the day.
Is it going to be like Tony's Find of the Week? We just go tip of the day, tip of the day.
Okay, sure, yeah, let's go with that. Require no bang cells.
Tip of the day. Well, fantastic. Well, there you go. That's the tip section out the way. So, as I said before, this week is Joy's turn to pick the topic. So, I don't know what she's picked. So, over to you, Joy.
This topic is kind of specific, but not that specific. So me and Tim have talked a lot about he's done some DJing and stuff for weddings and things of that nature before. So I was trying to think if I were doing a DJ for, let's just say, a wedding or a party or something fun, and I wanted to do a ladies of the 80s kind of theme, and I just picked out what songs I would put in a ladies of the 80s playlist.
Ah, there you go.
That's now the episode wrote the title itself. It's Ladies of the 80s.
Ladies of the 80s. Well, can I, before you start your topic, I can give you a real world example of my DJing, sort of.
Oh,
so I played a gig last weekend and it was at a Eagles Lodge, which is like a Moose Lodge, which for our UK listeners is still much like a British Legion club, but it's just a similar thing like that. I was a little disturbed to find out two things in this place. One, they allowed smoking inside, which I thought was completely gone, which I was very surprised.
Illegal at this point.
I think if it's a private members club, you can do as you like.
Okay.
And they had carpet on the wall.
Odd. Did they have carpet in the bathroom? Because I've experienced that before, and that's weird.
No, the bathroom did not have any carpet, though it smelled exactly like the lavatory on the Isle of Wight at Chiltern Chines. Now, that is a very specific memory, but whatever bleach they use in there or whatever, I went and went, this smells like the lavatory at Chiltern Chines on the Isle of Wight when I was about 7 years old.
Tim's very specific today. Okay, anyway.
But my point being is that we played with the band, Flagger Hill, and I quote-unquote DJ'd the breaks, which by DJing the breaks, I mean I had a list of cheesy music that I put on random. However, in the second break, I was saying to the guys, I said, I think I can whip this into a frenzy. I think I really can. And it was like, you know, as an experienced party DJ like I am, let's have a look around the audience. What do we have? We have alcohol, we have ladies, and they're mixing the two. And we're like, let me think how this is going to work. So I thought I'd start off easy. I started off with the wobble.
Of course.
I started the wobble.
I knew it was going to be a line dance from a mile away.
Yeah, so I put the wobble on. And, the dance floor came alive with almost 10 drunk people wobbling away. They were having the best time they ever had. And then I said to the guys sitting at the table, I said, I think I can keep it going. I think I can keep it going. So I put the cha-cha slide on. And the cha-cha slide begins.
And that was most easier for others, so it brings in more people.
More people came up. And again, the dance floor was full. People were having a great time sliding to the left and sliding to the right and one time and cha-cha real smooth and all that kind of stuff. And
no one knows how to do the Charlie Brown.
Lady in the black with the ripped jeans did know how to do the Charlie Brown.
Yay, we got one.
It's like I wanted to go up to her afterwards and say, Madam, I would like to give you a Charlie Brown award, but...
You're the first.
So I said to the guys at the table, I said, I think I've got this. I think I can keep the momentum going. So I put on the Cupid Shuffle. And the Cupid Shuffle begins. The dance floor cleared out. It was done.
You killed it.
And I was like, I should have put the electric slide on. And then we could play our last set. But anyway.
I did the Cupid Shuffle last night, dressed up as a giant mystery machine. Day after Halloween.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this episode will probably post a little bit after Halloween. But we had Halloween, and I've witnessed Joy's mystery machine attire.
It is a thing. We'll put a picture on the Instagrams of me wearing the mystery machine outfit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and also for our listeners, if you haven't signed up to our Instagram, we post different stuff on there than we post on the Facebook group, and it's normally like some kind of random picture that goes along with the episode. But yes, yes. You and your mystery machine outfit have to go on the Instagram.
That will be the one. Yes. And I'll do the one with me. I took one of me and Charlie together. My husband was Jason Momoa, which is very specific, but I'll post that one.
This episode thus far has been just specific things.
It's true. All right. So we're going to go to ladies of the 80s. So I was thinking kind of along the lines of Tim, but I did not go though I do know we ladies do love our line dancing typically. Mm-hmm. That's not what I went with. So, and this is in no particular order, but I did verify all the songs were in the 80s. So I did my research. Because you know how like some of them could be like 89, it's 90, and when was it released? And you're kind of like on the fence. Yeah. So I'm just going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And the first one I come across is Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine, Conga. Yes.
Now, thing is with Gloria Estefan, of course, people say Estefan, but I think she says Estefan. The thing is about her early stuff is Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. And after a while, they dropped the Miami Sound Machine. And I think they asked her in an interview, they said, is this a record company thing, a marketing thing? Because you wanted to be the main thing and they wanted to channel everything to you. And she said, no. She said, my husband's in the band. He writes the songs with me. And he thought it would be a good idea just to drop it so he could focus on me. And they were like, oh, okay.
I mean, that's fair. Well, and I mean, because I have seen it written just her name, and then I've seen it written the Miami Sound Machine, then I've seen it Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. So I've seen it like every different way possible. Yeah.
But that's where it landed, just with Gloria Estefan.
Makes sense, depending on who you are. So basically, I just did a little bit of research. So that song came out in 1985, and she was only 28. I would definitely say it's probably one of their top hits, right?
I think that, this other song, Get On Your Feet, and
which I also love. I have a story, though, to tell you about the Conga. Many years ago, when I was younger and didn't have to work at 8 a.m. every day, I had threw a party, and at some point during the night, we played, and this was Gloria Estefan, and for some reason, we kept playing the Conga. Now, given I don't remember doing this, take that as you will, internet. But so we all kind of woke up the next morning and we're all like, what happened? So in my thought process, I remember we were listening to YouTube, like up while we were broadcasting, listening to it. I said, well, let's go back and look at the songs that we listened to throughout the night and see if they ring a bell. And for some reason, there was probably a 15 song play count of Conga on repeat that night. None of us know when it happened and what we were doing. I'm assuming we were doing a Conga. But I just remember going through the YouTube thing going, what in the heck were we doing? And everybody's like, I don't even remember hearing it the first time. And I said, well, we liked it so much, we listened to it 17 more times.
Well, when the Conga strikes you, it's hard to let go.
I mean, she was telling us to do the Conga. We took it real seriously.
Maybe it was an amazing Conga line that went for a long way, and then you just had to repeat it to make the Conga.
I kept just hitting repeat on the song.
I have one Conga memory. Now, it's not the Conga, but it's a Conga line memory. So many, many years ago, when I worked at Nationwide Building Society in Hounslow with my friend Linda Dobson, maybe we should get her on the show one day. She might be able to tell some more of these stories. There was a nightclub, I think it's in Windsor. You've heard of Windsor Castle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was in Windsor, called Blazers. And it was like a Christmas party for where we worked. It wasn't official, but some of us decided that that's where we was going to go. And needless to say, I had been drinking some beverages, maybe in quantity, and they had the band Slade there. Now, Slade at that time, and I think even now, is not the same Slade. It doesn't have Noddy Holder. They have a different guy singing, but the backing band is the same. It's the same guitar player, Dave Hill. And somehow, I don't know what song they were playing, because really this night is a complete blur. In all honesty, it's just a complete and utter blur. I ended up fronting the Conga line, being congaed past the front of the stage where Slade were playing, and I high-fived Dave Hill as I walked past. I do remember that.
Well, I mean, that's a quality memory right there.
How I got into that situation and how that Conga line ended, I have no idea, but I do remember that.
I mean, now we've got to find out if there's a theory if everybody has a Conga story. It's kind of like tequila. Everybody has a tequila story. Was there a Conga line involved? Anyway, yeah, so that happened once. And every time I hear that song, that's all I think of now. Anyway. All right. And you know what the worst part about that is? Some drunk person, probably me, because it was my phone, was so dedicated to that song that they had to hit repeat over and over and over.
Like I said, talking from complete experience, when the Conga gets you, it's hard to let go.
That rhythm, what can we say? All right. So another one that I picked was Laura Branigan, Gloria, which is one of my favorites.
That is a great track. I also like by Laura Branigan, Self Control.
That's a good track too.
And like, as I do like to bring things back to Knight Rider. Self Control appears in Knight Rider. It's not actually her, but it's a sound alike. But all the songs in Knight Rider are sound alikes. But that song appears in Knight Rider, and that's one of those songs that really sums up that whole era of like the 80s for me and the sound of it. And I always think that when I get my 1982 Trans Am and I'm cruising around, that's the track I'm going to have on a loop.
That's a good. Okay, that brings me to another thing. Have you ever thought, Tim, if you were on a TV show and you had to pick your own theme song, what song would you pick?
See, this came up recently and I can't remember what I picked.
I know what mine is, but there's a bad word in the title, but it's by Elton John. Figure it out.
Yeah, I know exactly the one that you mean.
That would be mine.
Thing is, it'd be hard for me to pick one song that sums me up because...
I know, but it could change every week. I was just curious if you ever gave it any thought. Every time I hear that song, or I thought I'm Still Standing would be a great one too, because it sounds like an 80s kind of like theme song. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I hear how that could be a theme song to a TV show. I've thought of Robert Palmer before too as some choices. Some reason he sticks out to me as he could do a really good theme song.
That's true. I was just trying to think as I said, I can't remember what I picked. I just picked the first thing that came into my head when that came up previously. But I think if it was going to sum me up properly, it had to be released from 1980 to 1989. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe on the... next episode, I'll come back and I'll be like, yes, this is the one that really sums me up. It's this one.
We're going to give Tim some homework and he'll have to do the intro next time. Usually it's me doing the homework. We're going to send Tim for the homework this time. But you know what? Also, we were talking about Laura Branigan. What's really sad is the way she died. She was only like 47 years old. Did you know she died of a brain aneurysm in her sleep?
No, I didn't know. And I knew that she was no longer alive because I think I twittered something and tagged Laura Branigan in it because I was maybe going on about the fact that was going to be the first song I was going to listen to my Trans Am when I bought it. And it was liked. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Laura Branigan saw it. And then it was like, this is a fan page. I was like, oh, and I looked into it and I saw that she was no longer alive. But I didn't realize that she died of a brain aneurysm. It's terribly sad. It was
early 2000s. I don't remember exactly when, but she just, well, to be fair, it is really sad, but she was sleeping. So I guess if you got to go of a brain aneurysm, that's the way to go, right?
That's true. That's what happened to Grant Imahara on Mythbusters as well. I think he had a brain aneurysm.
That's one of those things that there's really no way, like, and if it's not medically caught quick enough, that's what happens, unfortunately, sadly. But anyway, yeah, that's another thing about her that I remember because I mean, I think of Gloria as it is a pop song, but I almost think of it as a disco tune, like an early 80s disco tune in my mind because of that kind of intro, that really intense. I don't even know what instrument it is when it first opens. That sounds like disco to me. So and her voice is so strong though, because it seems like it would be an easy song to sing, but it's not. The entire song is quite high and her voice is so strong, and it's that real intense disco music, like, you know, like Donna Summer and a lot of the females of disco that have those really strong voices. That's because it works so well, because the music's so intense. They have to have like that strong power over it for it to work and be like a quality disco tune. At least that's my opinion. And I think Laura Branigan did a good job of that on Gloria.
Yeah, I think she did. And is it Laura Branigan? I think I was reading about this recently, that the majority of the songs that she released are mostly reworked Latin American pop songs with English lyrics.
I think so. I actually think that was like her thing. And actually, we've talked about my brother-in-law that's from Mexico. His daughter, my older sister, her name is Gloria.
Oh.
70 contributes that partially to this song because she likes it. So it's a popular name in Spanish countries. Anyway, so those are my first two. And my third one is Tina Turner, Better Be Good to Me.
Yeah, that's not one of the I want to say classic Tina Turner songs. I mean, you think of Steamy Windows and Private Dancer and stuff like that. But that is a good song, but it's not one that a lot of people would pick when they say an 80s Tina Turner song.
But for me, when I was thinking about this, because I was thinking about each song and kind of trying to think of like, so here's my theory. You get a bunch of women on a dance floor. Maybe they've been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're fighting with a significant other, or they're just trying to tell off misogyny as a whole. It's really Tina Turner just preaching how you better be good to me.
Exactly.
I see how it could be a female anthem.
Exactly, especially after what Tina Turner has been through in her life.
Amen. And that have you watched any like the actual documentaries on her? Like, good Lord.
I mean, I haven't, but I mean, I'm aware of what she went through.
Yeah, and I mean, the song in some way was, she didn't write it. It's not, I don't think Tina Turner wrote most of her music, but she delivers it so well. And she has very, I don't know how you would explain it. In a way, she has a sultry kind of voice. Mm-hmm. It's almost it's very sultry to me and very stacked. Like it's not, I wouldn't say, I don't even know if I would characterize her as a soprano or an alto. I think she might be like a mezzo soprano because she can do a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. But so that delivery with that line and like what you're saying, what she's been through and all that kind of stuff, like I could see at the dance floor at 2 a.m. people singing it as they're, on the floor. And so then that's why I picked that one, because I was like, there are tons of other Tina Turner songs. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't about to pick Proud Mary because I'm like, no, just old.
Yeah, I think in the 80s, Tina Turner very much had a renaissance, because I mean, she even like covered "Addicted to Love" and stuff like that,
and it was quite good actually. I've heard it a few times.
Yeah,
and that was my pick for that one. And okay, I just thought of something. My turn to tell a story. So when I did go to, because we're talking about DJs and clubs and all this stuff, and I guess this really plays along with the fact I had in an episode or two ago about loud music makes people, or drinking makes people, or loud music makes people drink more.
That's it. Yeah.
So one time I went to, I hadn't been to this particular bar or pub or whatever you want to call it, but it's local to our area. And there's a lot of college students who go there. And one night I learned at 1 a.m. every night at this local place, out of nowhere, Tim, I was not expecting this. It was very strange. And I'm just going to say, I'm not uberly patriotic or anything like that. It's just not my thing. If it is your thing, that's fine. But at like 1 a.m., they started playing the national anthem over the loudspeaker. And a bunch of people all turned and just started singing it out of nowhere. And I'm sitting there going, weren't we just dancing to the Spice Girls? What happened?
Maybe, you know what it is? It's the same energy that you get when you go to a sporting event. Now, UK folks probably wouldn't know this, but when I say sporting event, I'm not just talking about the Super Bowl. I'm talking about any college football game, a monster truck event, WWF wrestling, golf. It doesn't matter, anything. They always do a thing where they ask people who are first responders and police and military to stand up, and you honor them, and then they play the national anthem and everyone stands, and you have to be patriotic and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think that so much exists in the UK, because I remember when I think it was the second time I came here, Hannah took me to the monster truck event at the Roanoke Civic Center. And then she said, you have to stand up for this. I said, well, what's this? She said, oh, we're doing the national anthem. I was like, really?
It was just so random. Like, I mean, you're right, though. We do it I've actually sang the national anthem at a basketball game more than once. And that's a high school level basketball game. Like, we take it very seriously here for whatever reason. Tim's not wrong. But yeah, it set me for a loop, because I was like, never in my life have I been in a bar at 1 a.m. and that's what starts playing.
Mind you, at the Moose Lodges, they do, not all of them do it, but they have this thing where the Moose Lodges are set up. So I think the money that they make supports this Moose Heart place. And it's like a children's charity or children's hospice, or for orphan children or something like that. And the place is Moose Heart, Indiana, or something like that. And some of the Moose Lodges who take this stuff really seriously, you'll be in the middle of playing there, and I would have been doing my cheesy disco set, or you've been playing a gig and people are dancing and drinking, having a great time, and some of them have gaming machines and they're all getting into that. And then I think it's like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Everything has to stop, and then you have to face whichever way Moose Heart is. And then somebody recites the Moose Heart thing, and we're all praying and thinking about the little children of Moose Heart.
That sounds like the start of like a horror movie. What? Like,
Is-
that's just so weird.
Yeah, I know. I've witnessed it.
Yeah, that sounds like me. I'm sitting there going, why did this switch? That's like, it's just like, what? Why wouldn't you do that like the beginning of the night? Like, why stop at 3 a.m. after everybody's cha-cha sliding and decide you're going to pray to the moose heart?
I don't know. I've witnessed this in multiple places. This isn't a one-off. Not, I said not all of them do it, but the ones that do it take it very seriously. And like they'll come up to you like just as you're getting up to the time, if it's 10 or 9, I can't remember what time they do it. I think it's 10. And they're like, one more, boys, because we've got to do the moose heart.
And you're like, okay, everybody get ready for the moose heart. So I'm going to change the subject. No more moose hearts. But my next pick was Paula Abdul, Straight Up. And I have a fact about this one.
Ah,
A fact. So I'm assuming you know the song. It's pretty common, one of our most famous songs, right?
yes, I'm very familiar with this song. I own this song twice. I have a CD version of it, and then I have a vinyl copy that I bought in Value Village in Canada. There you go.
That goes along with Tim's episode last week. All right. So Paula Abdul says her mother found this song for her. So here's what's interesting. She explains that her mother knew someone whose boyfriend was an aspiring songwriter. She got Straight Up as an 8-track demo. The demo version was so bad that Abdul's mom was crying, laughing, and threw it in the trash. But Abdul heard something she liked in it and retrieved it. At the time, she was a full-time choreographer, which we were talking about last time. That's kind of her thing. And on the side, she was trying to record music. The record label didn't think the song was any good, but offered to record 2 songs they wanted. She offered to record 2 songs they wanted. She didn't like if they would let her do Straight Up.
Oh, okay.
The song was recorded at a cost of $3,000. Later, friends of hers told her that somebody with her name, same name, was being played on a Northern California radio station. And literally within 10 days, it sold 1 million copies. It was her. Her friend thought it was somebody else with the same name.
Oh, wow.
So that's the history of how it was written.
Because, I mean, that's probably the lead track on Forever Your Girl, which is the album that it comes from.
Mm-hmm. So I knew that because I was watching a thing where Paula Abdul was talking about where she was a Lakers girl and all that kind of stuff and just describing her history. And she said something about it. And so when I was doing the research on it, I went and looked. And lo and behold, that's how the song came to be. I wonder if the person who they laughed at who wrote the song got credit.
Well, I suppose if the person whoever wrote the song would get credit because they wouldn't, even if you rework it, you're still using the same melody and the same lyrics, I would assume.
True. And another funny fact about it, because they only spent $3,000 to record this and they didn't want to record it, they recorded it in her apartment bathroom.
Oh.
And at one point in the original recording, you could hear a neighbor yelling at him to shut up.
Oh. Can you still hear that on the recording?
I don't know. I've never noticed it. Now I need to go back and know. Tim, you've got it in multiple mediums. Do some research and let us know.
Because certainly, like these days, you could just put it in the computer and take it out. But this 80s, this was at the cusp of digital recording, so they wouldn't necessarily have the tools to do that. And I'm sure if it probably slipped under the radar in the mix and you couldn't hear it.
I would think so. I don't remember ever hearing anyone yell "shut up" in the background of the song. Just a theory.
There you go.
So anyway, my next one is one that Tim's very familiar with, and it might be controversial. It's the B-52s, but it's Rome.
Yeah, I know. I know Rome. It's sort of from the B-52. I don't say trifecta, but you've got Rome, and then you've got obviously Love Shack, which I have retired from, and then probably Rock Lobster. They're they're the 3 B-52 type songs.
So I picked Rome because one, it's my favorite B-52 song, so might be some biases there. Mm-hmm. Like Tim said, I'm kind of burnt of the whole Love Shack thing. And Rock Lobster, while it's fun, it's not going to be one that gets everybody on the dance floor necessarily. Might get some eyes because I would say there's people out there who probably never even heard Rock Lobster. Like, truly.
No, I think for a lot of people, B-52s are the Love Shack band.
Yeah, that guy who's screaming at you to go get in a whale.
And it's about to set sail. Joy, I just instinctively said some lyrics. What am I doing?
No. I've done it so many times. I hit the table, y'all. We told you when I get animated to start laughing, that happens. So sorry, y'all. That was me laughing at Tim singing Love Shack. But did you say you had somebody? Did you record Rome at one point with somebody or something? Or was there an ongoing joke with the song Rome?
No, I've never performed or recorded Rome. So the only my only B-52ing is the Love Shack song.
Oh, Love Shacking.
And as I've said before, my online recording with Jenny is my final statement on that matter.
So, with that being said, I think that Rome, I would say, I always think about songs in terms of being used in movies and TV shows. I've seen multiple movies and TV shows where it's like there's this 15-year-old's first time in like France or something going down the streets of Paris, and Rome is always that playing in the background as the song because she's looking out the mirror or going right past the Louvre or something.
Yeah.
It's always that song.
And Hannah's theory about songs is that if they have clapping in them, they're normally pretty good. And that song does have clapping in it.
I didn't know Hannah had a clapping theory.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Anything, yeah, it's like she likes songs that have clapping in, and normally if they have clapping in them, they're pretty good.
Huh. Well, it could be because rhythm, sound, we humans like, she might be onto something.
Yeah, she loves the Steve Miller Band, and then she likes Take the Money and Run because that has clapping in it as well.
See, I don't know that I've even noticed. Okay, so Hannah's got a different brain than me because I don't even know that I've noticed those songs have clapping until someone points out to me it is clapping. Good thinking. Okay. So next one topic will be songs with clapping. This one's for you, Hannah. Sorry, Tip, I ran out of ideas. I'm just going, if you're happy, clap your hands through the episode. All right. The next song is Mickey by Tony Basil.
Yeah, so this I don't think we've done an earworm episode yet, or if we have, I've forgotten because we've recorded so many. But this song is the worst of the earworms, and it must be said I'd eradicated it from my brain up to about 5 seconds ago, and now all that's going on in my brain is, oh, Mickey, you're so fun. It's just like, ah.
I will say, and I mean, even the music video is so iconic. Like when I hear the song, I can see her in the cheerleading outfit in the video. Because I'm pretty sure we used to watch it on pop-up music video when I was a kid a lot on VH1. I told you, my mom always watched pop-up music video. And I feel like that was one that came on all the time. Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the video because I have been trying to do my best to completely eradicate it from my brain. But even now, I think she's wearing blue or has blue pom-poms.
Yep.
And it's like blue a white, and it's like a white type thing. And then she's doing
megaphone.
Cheerleading. Yeah.
It's the megaphone. And when I was a kid, though, I had a theory they should make a version of Hey Mickey, but make it like for like the Musketeers or Mouseketeers. Like I never understood why there was never a collab with like the Mouseketeers or like the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Hey Mickey, maybe there's a rights thing, but I always thought there should be.
Do you know what? I could be
maybe
wrong
there was.
Here. I could be wrong here. I've been to Disney's Magic Kingdom in Florida a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I've seen that on one of their parades or the stage that's at the Cinderella Castle. I could have sworn I've seen the mouse people, whatever you want to call them, doing Hey Mickey, and then Mickey being in, or Minnie being having pom-poms or something. I could be dreaming this. But I could have sworn I've seen that.
Jim was running a fever last year with the flu and had a fever dream of Mickey and Minnie doing their version of Hey Mickey on stage. No, it seems logical though. Like I was thinking, like they used to put all those songs out. I told you about the really weird Mambo number 5 with Hey Minnie and Mickey and like stuff like that. So it would seem logical they would do it with Hey Mickey. But now I'm gonna have to go on the internet and give it a Google because I'm curious. But I see what you're saying. They could have done like a stage show version of it. Maybe it wasn't on TV.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it was on a parade float, or it was on the show at the castle,
See,
or I could just be completely dreaming this.
and Tim's earworm that was Mickey at one point. It had hit his brain so much he made up a whole stage show. All right. I'm a little tired tonight, y'all. I think I'm going loopy. Anyway, so I'm going to laugh at this one. So I was listing these songs and I was just kind of read through, trying to figure out what I want to put. And I meant to write Jump for Your Love, the Pointer Sisters. And I wrote Jumbo for Your Love.
Oh, Jumbo for Your Love. And the Pointer Sisters went to a UK fish and chip shop. And they ordered a jumbo battered sausage, and they wrote the song "Jumbo for Your Love."
I thought that was gonna be a real story, and now I get it. It was just a joke. I was like, how does Tim know they went to a fish and chip shop?
Maybe they did. I mean, they've toured. I'm sure they toured
I'm sure
the UK.
They've been to Europe. All right. Well, we've talked about the Pointer Sisters. I am a big fan of the Pointer Sisters. I picked "Jump for Your Love" because I thought that one's more. I could see that one being more fun. Like, I mean, I'm so excited and stuff is fun too. But for some reason, that one I think fits more if I were trying to DJ like a bar.
Yeah, and you know what? I've used Jump when I've done cheesy wedding discos before. It was covered by a UK act called Girls Aloud. Mm-hmm. And it's not quite a note for note cover, but they didn't reinvent it. It's much the same idea. And when I used to do discos with Moroccan soul, when I used to DJ weddings and parties and stuff like that, I often would use that Girls Aloud version, and people would really like that. People really got behind that. And plus, I think it was current at the time, like early 2000s. Were they like a
90s or early 2000s pop band, basically?
Yeah, it followed the playbook of 5 attractive people in a line dancing synchronized, and the actual vocal piece probably not that important.
So it was basically S Club 7, Steps, all of those that were popular at that time.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I picked that one though because I just thought it was good, and that's one I think once again, if I go on my theory about being used in movies, it's probably been used in a lot of movies too.
Yeah, I like. I think in the Pointer Sisters catalog, I think I one of my favorites is Neutron Dance.
I can agree with that, though. There was a cartoon when I was little that was called Jimmy Neutron, and he was a boy genius.
No.
And at one point they did there. I'm pretty sure Neutron Dance was used in like 5 different episodes. They even did a movie. And this goes with what we were talking about last time. We're the Kids in America. Mm-hmm. In the Jimmy Neutron movie, they're flying off into space because they were able to make rocket ships. And We're the Kids in America, another version of it is what's playing when they fly off into space.
Ah, there you go. Now, were they using the Moroccan soul version, which I posted up in the Facebook group, or was it a different version?
I think it was different. They didn't get the call from your agent. Something about a discrepancy. I don't know, Tim. You'll have to take it up with the creators of Jimmy Neutron. But they had the Neutron Dance in a few episodes, and I specifically remember We're the Kids of America as they take off in spaceships.
Okay, all right.
But I don't understand why the Kids in America were flying off of this. I don't get the song reference, but okay. It's debate for another time why they did that at that point. Probably because it's, the intro is kind of intense and you're like flying off in this. Anyway, I'll talk to the sound director and find out why they didn't use your version and what was the choice made.
Well, there we go. Your people speak to their people. It'll be fantastic.
Another one that I picked was Madonna, Dress You Up in My Love.
Yeah, now that is an early Madonna song. I forget which album it's from. It's not off True Blue. I think it's off the album that's prior to that. That's very early. If it's not her first album, it's the one that... Wasn't it? It's the one with the... Well, it's like kind of like a sepia-coloured cover.
Let's see. I'm just going to look it up.
I think it's got Into the Groove on it as well.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the Like a Virgin album.
Is it on Like a Virgin?
Yeah, it's saying it's on Like a Virgin.
Ah, there you go. I should have known that. But I know it's... I was like... yeah, because it has a sepia-coloured cover.
Yeah, and she's like kind of got that red kind of tint to her face. I know exactly what you're talking about. The words around her. Yeah, it's the Like a... because it was 84.
Ah, there
so
you
very
go.
Early. But I picked that song because it's, once again, it's fun. It's easy. I see how it could get people on a dance floor. I think Madonna's got a lot of easy pop songs that could probably do that. but I just thought for some reason that one worked more.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. That is a good track. I don't think I've played that during my stints of party DJing, but I think especially like now, it's probably got kind of a retro thing about it too. I think if I was DJing a wedding or something like that, maybe you slap that on. I get the right people out there, and you put that on. I get the people like, yeah, classic.
But I have a fact for you, Tim. Our one and only Nile Rodgers plays on it.
Ah.
He also, he plays a guitar solo and he produced it.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because I know he'd worked with Madonna on Like a Virgin, so it was around that kind of era. And as we know, any song of that era that has magic, it probably has Nile Rodgers involved. Or if it has that funky guitar, which this track does have on it, it's probably going to be Nile Rodgers.
See, I didn't know that until I started doing some research. And then I was looking up the thing and I was like, wait a second. And we talked about, I was like, that does kind of that sound. And you mentioned he worked with Madonna before on the other episode. So I started doing my research and he produced the song. He plays on it. And also, though, not only does it have his guitar, but that kind of backbeat drum driven sound. I think is kind of known for his kind of music too, especially in this pop age. So it works so well. And that's why it corresponds as a pretty good dance hit.
There we are.
Yep. You guys, if you didn't know this, drums create beats. And usually people who have a little bit of rhythm or a lot of alcohol tend to try to follow those beats. There's my tip. I'll be here all week.
So basically what you're saying is if any like big time record producers out there, I don't know,
Nile Rodgers.
Nile Rodgers is listening or anyone like that, and people want some tips. So like, well, I'm making this music and no one's dancing to it. Joy, can you help?
Yes. We'll get Hannah to clap in time. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 while Hannah's clapping. There you go. You got a hit. Woohoo! All right. I got 2 or 3 more songs. Now, this one is an ode to one of my favorite movies, so this could be why I picked it, but it's Denise Williams. Let's hear it for the boy.
Yes, I'm again very familiar with this track. This was a track that was in the charts when I was growing up. I didn't realize that it's from. Is it Footloose? It's from, or is it?
Yeah, it's on Footloose. It's the song they're singing when they're teaching the friend to dance.
Yeah. So
well, they're not singing. But.
I remember this being in the charts. I said when I was very much younger, and I don't know. It's one of those songs that if I hear it now, it's like a time machine. It takes me back to when I was 7 years older. What year did it come out?
84.
Okay, so I was 10.
Same year as the last one, actually.
Yeah, so it just immediately takes me back to that time. And even then in 1984, it has a sort of 70s disco sort of feel about it. It's not so much like the pop stuff of the 80s. It almost is a little bit of a throwback even in 84.
And that's what I love about it. Like we talked about, that's one of my favorite kind of genres of music I tend to fall into. That's probably why my picks are very, that way. But I love her voice too. She's got a really strong, exactly what I say with those other female singers of that kind of period that I like. They have very strong, distinct voices over what is like a very intense, like you said, almost disco feel playing in the background. And it works so well because if they didn't, I don't think it would work as well as it does.
No, exactly. And maybe he's no Romeo, but he's my loving one-man show.
I wonder who wrote that song. I'd be curious to know if she wrote it.
I don't know.
I have no clue if she writes music, but I will say those are some really good lyrics to it, though, actually, as well. And it's a really sweet song. So in Footloose, you've probably seen usually when they do like the trailer, that famous trailer where they're sitting and there's dancing his feet on the like the metal seats or whatever at the football stadium. I can't think of the name of it right now. And then like he's teaching his friend how to dance. So a lot of times it'll start out with the beginning, that guitar intro to Footloose, which I'm sure you've probably played a bajillion times before. And then but in the actually, that's what you tend to see whenever you're seeing the trailer. But in the actual movie, when he's teaching him to dance, his friend, he's got like the little kid, like his little sister's tape player, and they're pressing play, and it's that song on repeat, and the little sister trying to teach him how to dance. Then they're at the football stadium and he's trying to teach him, and that's the song. It's Let's Hear It for the Boy.
So what you're basically saying is this is the 1984 technology version of You and the Conga.
Yes, on repeat. But it's cute because it's like a little kid tape player, like, you know, like that only plays like 2 songs. And so the little girls like do it like some little, his little sisters are doing like the most simple dance to it, like they did for like their school play or something. And they're trying to teach the guy how to do it. And he did not know how to follow the rhythm. Oh. The drums did not play well for him. Eventually he gets it, but it was a rough, rocky start.
There we go.
Didn't have Hannah clapping well for him. Hannah's gonna be like, Joy's just gonna think of me from now on, Tim, as the person who likes clapping.
She loves clapping, and Steve Miller, and when they come together, it's magic.
I get it. I see what you did there.
See that? Yeah.
That was fun. I see that one. All right. Anyway, my next one is, and I don't know. I feel like it's a little cliche, but I'm just going to do it anyway. It's Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
This song, again, is one of those songs which is like an instant time machine song. I remember when this was at number 1 and Top of the Pops would show the video for it. And it's like peak Whitney. And in the video, she's happy. She looks amazing.
I was going to say that dress is gorgeous. Like,
yeah. She's glowing. Her hair's beautiful, and she's singing this song. And it's so sad what happened to her.
I know, because I will say that's probably when I think of her, that's the first vision that comes to mind. It's her in the video with the glittery dress, with the hair. She's got the hair bow in it, and she's in the house. Like, it's so cute.
Yeah, I mean, and she looked amazing in that.
I know. And then, sadly, if you saw her close to her demise, for lack of a better way of saying it, was stupid Bobby Brown. I'll say what I said, Bobby. If you're listening, you can come testify next week, but I'm going to have a lot of words for you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the thing is, Bobby Brown was in a Knight Rider episode, and I just can't forgive him tainting my favorite TV program.
I will say, though, I do like some of Bobby Brown's music, but I'm disappointed in myself for liking some of it.
Do you know the song of his I really like is the song from Ghostbusters 2, On Our Own? Yeah. It's actually it's a good song. Also, My Prerogative is a good song.
That's my favorite. And all of his music when he was with, what was the band he was with?
New Edition.
Yeah, I like New Edition as a band. I really do.
Have you ever seen the season 4 Knight Rider episode that has New Edition shoehorned into it?
Can't say I have. Sorry. Such a specific statement.
You couldn't. It's a terrible shoehorn. Obviously, their publicist paid for them to be there, or there was money changed hands, I'm sure, because they add basically nothing to the plot. Apart from it's like, oh, we're saving this downtown bar and there's a blind guy in it. And then every now and again, New Edition pop up and they start doing like breakdancing around Kit and they go, count me out, count me out. And it's just like.
And they all had those little high pitched voices.
Yeah. And then like they have some rapport with Kit and then they all sing in harmony together. It serves no purpose. But now when I watch it, it's just so hilarious because then you go, look, that's Bobby Brown. Look at him.
That Bobby Brown. Well, so I would say Cool It Now is probably one of my other favorites by them, and I like Candy Girl.
Yeah, Candy Girl's a good song.
But those are probably the two, and then you already said My Prerogative. So, I mean, unfortunately, as much as it annoys me, because when I was watching the stuff on what happened to Whitney, a big factor in her demise was he did not like the fact that she was more popular than him. He really hated that. It bothered him to his core, but she was a much more talented musician. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was a much better singer than he ever was.
And he was like okay dance. I mean, he was in an early 90s, late 80s, early 90s boy band. He had his little heyday. He had a few songs. He was obviously at least slightly talented. I'm not saying he wasn't, but she had more talent in her pinky than most humans have. You know what I mean? At anything. She was just one of those people who's so good at one thing that, there's nothing you can do about it. But it bothers me that he couldn't support her in that. There was just so much jealousy. It just contributed to their whole weird dynamic.
Yeah, but I see. I don't understand that because, like, as a married couple, I mean, ultimately, they're a married couple. You're like a team. And, some people get all in people's business, even outside of music, where it's like, well, my wife earns more than I do, and I really resent that. It's like, you're a team. What does it matter?
Well, if Charlie goes and makes a bunch of money, maybe I can stop working.
Yeah.
Go do it. I could go travel the world with our money. Like, where's the problem?
I mean, like, if Hannah started earning 50 times what I did, I'd be like, this is great. You're successful.
Tim finally gets to be a house husband. Yay.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, why would you resent that? I mean, like, if you're fading Bobby Brown, whose music royalties are probably not paying you a lot of money, and then you've got the amazing Whitney Houston killing it, it's like, go Whitney.
Exactly. I'm like, that's what bothers me. It doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, they have both their children have passed away now too, which was really sad. And they found the most recent, her daughter, like in a bathtub, the exact same way they found her.
Yeah, it's terrible. Everything about that is sad. And who's still around to tell the tale? Bobby Brown.
Stupid Bob Brown. Anyway, we've got somebody out there who's like, I'm a Bobby Brown fan. They just clicked off the episode.
You should.
Sorry.
Obviously, this is a audio podcast. Maybe one day we will release the video when we do this. But Joy's face was a picture. I'm just saying.
Stupid Bobby Brown. All right. So, as you guys can imagine, as I've told you, I like to slam into the tables. I'm also Tim can tell you, everything I'm thinking is written all over my face most of the time. I have no poker face. Zero poker face. Unless it's at work. He's seen me get a poker face at work, but that's different. I work in HR.
There you go.
My last choice is We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's.
Do you know what? I'm not super familiar with I know this song, but I'm not super familiar with the Go-Go's output. For me, of the Go-Go's, but I'm more familiar with Belinda Carlisle's solo output than I ever was with the Go-Go's. And I know Jane Wiedlin, and she had Rush Hour, and some of the other people in the Go-Go's had songs, but of those Go-Go people, Belinda Carlisle is more what I'm familiar with. I don't know if they were super popular in England at all. Certainly it wasn't 80s music that was, I remember.
To be fair, in America, it really was just like Vacation. We Got the Beat, Our Lips Are Sealed were probably their big songs here too. It's not like they had a huge catalog. And by any stretch, I would say Belinda Carlisle is probably what most people would know, and her music was probably much more popular. I just picked We Got the Beat because we were talking about it. It works for the thing we're discussing.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make a joke, but maybe somebody out there is a Glee fan. When you said I'm not much on the Go-Go's, in one episode they're trying to recruit people to come play in the Glee club, and they're like, "We're going to do a mashup with the Go-Go's. How fun is that?" And the girl looks at her and went, "I'm more of a Bengals fan, but thank you," and walks off. And I don't know why, but when you said that, I really wanted to go, "Are you more of a Bengals person, Tim?" But then I was like, he's not going to get it.
I wouldn't have got the reference, but I can tell you, yes, I am more of a Bengals person.
I would say, I mean, they had probably about the same amount of hits here. Like you've got Walk Like an Egyptian is probably their biggest hit. Eternal Flame, Manic Monday.
Yeah, and their cover of Hazy Shade of Winter by the Bangles is absolutely fantastic. And I would say that is one of those covers that's better than the original, in my opinion.
There we go, Tim. There's two types of people in the world. There's the Go-Go's and the Bengals. We have now confirmed Tim is Team Bengals.
Yeah, and I mean, Susanna Hoffs is an amazing singer. She's a great guitar player and songwriter.
I could agree with that. I like the bagels. I don't know that I have a preference though. Like for me personally, it was just funny when you said that. That's the first thing that came to mind.
No, I'm Team Bangles all the way.
You are, so are you going to walk like an Egyptian on out of here, Tim?
Well, I don't know, but I do. If we're almost closing the episode, I just want to give another tip.
Oh,
Another
okay.
tip. Now, as I said, we are recording this show probably sometime. Yeah, you'll hear this way after the fact. So we had Halloween yesterday, so it'll be a number of weeks before you hear this. But yesterday, I hadn't seen it for years and years and years. But I watched Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, not Ghostbusters 2 with that Statue of Liberty and the Vigo and all that. That's not great. That was just like a cash-in. But the original article Ghostbusters, and I had a Blu-ray 4K version of it, and then I watched it. And it must be said, in my opinion, even though I love it, it is absolutely perfect from beginning to end. And the thing that I really enjoy about it, because of the time when it was filmed, it's nearly all practical effects.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Even like the ghosts that you see on the screen were practical effects, and then it's superimposed on the other film. So everything it looks right. Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, when he's walking through the streets of New York City. Yes, he's not 100 feet tall. He's probably 6 feet tall. But it's a real thing, and the way the light hits it just looks right. And also, I mean, I've seen like outtakes of the film with Bill Murray. Now, Bill Murray didn't really read the script properly and wasn't really interested in reading the script, and he was really winging every scene. And if you see outtakes on YouTube, you see some of the scenes that you've seen 100 times. And he says different dialogue. So what you hear in the film is just something he happened to say at the time.
That doesn't surprise me. So where's the tip that we should watch Ghostbusters on Halloween?
No, I'd just say watch Ghostbusters.
That's
the tip. If you haven't seen it for a while, watch it.
Also, I mean, Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters is a great tune.
Oh, yeah. I think we've covered the whole thing about him and Huey Lewis and the lawsuit and all that kind of business.
Oh, yeah. But I still like the song. Sorry.
It is a fantastic song.
Was it you who taught me about a mashup with that? There was a mashup. I thought you said that was really good with that song. And maybe it wasn't you.
No, I mean, it's exactly the same as I Want a New Drug, but, you know, we've covered the lawsuit and etc. I mean, you could mash it into I Want a New Drug.
That's what it is. There is a mashup. It's 9 Inch Nails Closer with the actual Ray Parker Jr. Ghostbusters. And I know that sounds really weird, but it's actually really cool. And if you've never heard it, go listen to it. I thought it was you, but maybe it was somebody else who told me about it.
Yeah.
But it sounds really cool.
And there's one other interesting Ghostbusters fact, and maybe we will leave it here as we're talking about Ghostbusters. So in the music video for Ghostbusters, which I've watched recently, there's a scene at the end of the video where Ray Parker Jr. and all the Ghostbusters from the film, I want to say old timey, but I mean it was period correct Times Square. They're in the middle of Times Square, and you've got all the video screens and all the lights at one end, and they're in like one of the medians in the middle of Times Square, and he's singing the song Ghostbusters, and they're all doing their kind of dance behind him in like a kind of a
Tim just did a Thriller dance, if anybody was wondering.
It's like that, but it's not quite Thriller dance. But they're boogieing along down, and Ray Parker Jr. is singing his song, and they're doing their kind of swing dance thing, and it's great. And then Bill Murray gets on the floor and he does some break dancing, and it's great. They wanted it to look like they just turned up in Times Square and did it. So normally if you film anywhere, especially New York, you have to get a permit. And normally there's conditions of the permit, and maybe they want the road closed and they want barricades up and all that kind of stuff.
It's security and things like that.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But they didn't want that. They wanted it to look completely spontaneous. So they didn't get a permit. They didn't tell anyone. They turned up in a car, filmed it, took about 10 minutes, and then they got in the car and went. And then after the fact, I think the New York either sued them or gave them a fine or something like that. I was going to say,
did somebody come for them later?
Yeah, and then they paid the fine or whatever, but they got the shot they wanted, which was, you know, completely off the cuff, the Ghostbusters dancing in Times Square.
I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you got to do.
There you
I
go.
feel like I would have just went for it. It's one of those ask for forgiveness, stop permissions kind of situations.
Absolutely. Now, quite how that ties into Ladies from the 80s, I don't know, but I saw it yesterday and I was excited about it.
Anyway, so if you guys have never seen Glee, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Go watch Glee. All right. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.